There's betrayal. And then there's watching your dead mother get mocked by your fiancé and her parents right in front of everyone at your own rehearsal dinner. The woman who raised me, gave everything she had to people who didn't deserve an ounce of her generosity, was turned into a punchline by the very family I was about to marry into, if hell had a waiting room. This was it. I'm 33. Until recently. I was engaged to Lydia, a woman I genuinely believed I'd grow old with. We met 6 years ago at a friend's backyard cookout. She had a killer smile, sharp wit, and that magnetic charm that makes you forget the world. It didn't take long before we became serious. A year ago, I proposed. It felt right, she felt right. But I wasn't just marrying Lydia, I was marrying her whole circus of a family. Her parents, Jack and Donna, were loud, always looking for attention, and never short on an opinion. At first, I thought they were just big personalities. Turns out, they were entitled narcissists with zero self-awareness. Before I tell you how it all blew up, let me talk about my mom, Patricia. She was everything. Strong, kind, selfless to a fault. She fought cancer for 3 agonizing years and still managed to put others before herself. That woman could walk into any mess and clean it up with a smile, making everyone feel like they weren't broken even when she was... And here's the real kicker. Jack and Donna owed her everything. And I mean everything. When Lydia's family restaurant was collapsing, my mom stepped in. No one else believed in them. She did. She co-signed a loan to save the place, helped restructure their finances, and got them back on their feet. Later, when their oven broke down and they couldn't afford a new one, she paid for it outright. She never asked for a dime back even when she was struggling to pay her own medical bills. She even helped Lydia's older brother, Ryan, finish college when he couldn't afford his last semester. She believed in education and gave him a second chance. Babysitting his kids, late-night budgeting, help you name it. My mom was there. And what did she get in return? Polite thanks in passing. No real acknowledgement, no gratitude, nothing. But she didn't care. She didn't do it for the credit. She did it because it was the right thing to do. When she passed 2 years ago, it shattered me. Lydia was there. Technically. But even then, she seemed distant. When I broke down, she told me things like, "Your mom wouldn't want you stuck in grief." It felt less like comfort and more like hurry up and move on. And as the wedding drew closer, more red flags popped up. I wanted to include a small tribute to my mom during the ceremony. Lydia's reaction, isn't that going to make people sad? Weddings are supposed to be happy. That stung. It wasn't just a preference. It was a dismissal of who my mother was and what she meant to me. Then came Jack and Donna's comments. Jack once joked Lydia was upgrading by marrying me. Donna would mutter lines like, "We all make sacrifices for love," as if Lydia was doing charity work. It was condescending, demeaning, but I swallowed it all to keep the peace. What a fool I was. 1 month before the wedding, Jack and Donna offered to host the rehearsal dinner. It was at some swanky restaurant they had connections with. I thought it was generous at first, maybe a peace offering. Wrong again. It was all for show. Donna kept reminding everyone about how much effort she was putting in, how this dinner would be the talk of the town. Jack. He couldn't shut up about how exclusive the venue was, how lucky we were to get it. The whole thing reeked of ego and control. When I tried confirming the guest list, Donna rolled her eyes. "We'll handle it. Michael, just show up and enjoy." "Excuse me, whose wedding was this?" And then there was the menu. Donna made sure to let me know the chef was creating something special, not like what you'd normally find back home. Michael. Back home was her favorite jab, her way of reminding me I wasn't from money. I came from a working-class town, and they loved making me feel small for it. Lydia. She laughed along. When I brought up how uncomfortable it was, she brushed it off or told me I was too sensitive. 1 week before the dinner, another red flag. I made a minor suggestion about table centerpieces. Donna scoffed and snapped. "Let's leave the design to people who understand elegance." Lydia just sat there. I should have walked away then, but I stayed, because deep down, I still hoped they'd surprise me and show some basic human decency. Spoiler alert, they didn't. If spitting on someone's grave were a social event, my fiancé's family just hosted it. They took the one woman who saved them from financial ruin, helped them without asking for anything in return, and mocked her in front of a crowd like she was a bad joke at a comedy roast. All while I sat there, fists clenched under the table, watching the people I once considered family laugh at the corpse of my mother's legacy. The day of the rehearsal dinner, I already felt something was off. Lydia was quiet in the car, scrolling through her phone, barely responding to anything I said. When I asked if she was excited, she just shrugged. When we arrived at the restaurant, it didn't feel like our celebration. It felt like walking into a corporate banquet hosted by Jack and Donna Inc. Most of the guests were from their side extended family, business associates, people I'd never met. On my side, my dad, my sister, and a couple of close friends. That was it. They'd hijacked the event and turned it into a networking session. I tried to stay calm, told myself to smile and get through it. But the tension in the room was thicker than the overpriced wine they were pouring. Then came the speeches. Jack grabbed the mic first, like he was about to deliver a TED Talk. He cleared his throat dramatically and opened with, "Tonight is about celebrating the union of two families, our Lydia. And of course, Michael." He said my name like he'd just stepped in something gross. He went on about how they'd raised Lydia to aim high, and then threw in this dagger, while Michael might not be what we envisioned at first, and just let the sentence hang, like I was some kind of disappointment Lydia had settled for. My dad shot him a glare that could have burned holes through steel. My sister crossed her arms and stared him down like a sniper. Next up, Donna. She strutted to the microphone like she was walking a red carpet. Her speech started with the usual fake flattery, but then she dropped this line: "It'll be nice to finally have someone in the family who doesn't mind getting their hands dirty." Right. A few of her relatives laughed. I looked at Lydia, hoping for some sign of discomfort, but she was smiling along with them. I felt like I was choking on glass. And then it happened. Jack returned to the mic. "Before we wrap things up," he said, "I just want to acknowledge someone who's no longer with us, but who played a big role in shaping who Michael is, Patricia." My heart twisted. For a split second, I thought maybe, just maybe, they were going to say something kind. "Nope," he continued. "Patricia was a generous woman. Sometimes too much, if I'm being honest." Then he winked, like it was some kind of private joke. The room went quiet. I could feel the blood rushing to my face. But he wasn't done. "Let's just hope Michael doesn't inherit her enthusiasm for taking charge." He smirked. "We wouldn't want him meddling too much, right?" That was it. My fists clenched under the table. I didn't look at Lydia. I didn't need to. I already knew what I'd see. And just when I thought it couldn't get more humiliating, Donna walked over to me, smiling like she was posing for a magazine, and said, "I hope we didn't upset you with those stories. We were just trying to honor Patricia in our own way." Honor, by calling her controlling, by turning her life's sacrifices into some twisted comedy bit. I stared at her, stunned. Then I finally said it, loud enough for the people around us to hear. "Are you serious right now?" The room froze. Jack looked up from his drink like I'd just slapped him. Lydia looked startled. Donna blinked, clearly not expecting pushback. "You mocked her," I said, my voice trembling with anger. "You took everything she did for your family, her time, her money, her kindness, and turned it into a joke. How is that honoring her?" Donna tried to laugh it off. "Michael, don't be so sensitive. We were just sharing stories. No harm meant." No harm. She called mocking the woman who paid their bills and saved their business. No harm. Jack stood up, clearly fed up. "If you're so offended, maybe you should leave," he said, pointing to the door. For a moment, I actually considered it. Maybe I should have just walked out. But then I looked at my dad, my sister, the few friends who actually came to support me, and I realized something. This wasn't just about tonight. This was about all the insults I'd swallowed, all the moments I'd stayed silent, all the ways I'd let them walk over my mother's memory. And now they were trying to kick me out of the dinner they ruined. Hell, no! So I stood up. My chair scraped loudly against the floor. Everyone turned. I looked at Lydia, who was tugging on my sleeve, whispering, "Can we talk outside?" "We?" "No. Lydia," I said, "we can't. Not until your parents understand how disgustingly disrespectful they've been." She looked like she wanted to cry, but I didn't care. Not anymore. Donna sighed like she was the one being wronged. "Michael, this is supposed to be a happy occasion." But the whispers were already spreading. People were murmuring, turning to each other. The scene was out in the open now, and I had no intention of backing down. Jack growled, "You're making a big mistake, kid." I laughed bitterly. "You think this is a mistake? Let me make something clear. Mocking my dead mother wasn't enough for them. No, they had to go one step further, after publicly trashing the woman who kept their family afloat. My ex. Fiancée stole a sacred heirloom from my mom's memory box, a piece of my family's soul, and thought I wouldn't notice. That's when I realized. I wasn't just walking away from a toxic family. I was escaping a nightmare I almost legally tied myself to. So there I was, standing in the middle of the restaurant, facing a room full of stunned guests. Jack had just accused me of overreacting. Donna was playing the victim. Lydia was frozen beside me, as if she were too embarrassed to speak or too weak to defend the one person who'd stood by her through everything. I looked out at the crowd, cleared my throat, and said loud enough for every soul in that room to hear. This isn't just about tonight. This is about the kind of family I'd be marrying into. A family that doesn't respect me. A family that doesn't respect my mother. A family that doesn't respect the values I was raised with. Jack scoffed. You're throwing away a good thing over nothing. Nothing, I snapped. You think disrespecting my mom, mocking her sacrifices, and treating me like I'm beneath your daughter is nothing. Lydia started crying finally. Her face crumbled as the truth hit her like a brick. But I didn't soften. I turned to her and said, we're not talking about this tomorrow, or ever. This is done. She looked like she wanted to scream, or maybe beg, but I was already walking away, my footsteps echoing in the dead silent room. As I reached for the door, I heard her call out one last time, Michael, please don't do this. I paused, my hand on the door. I turned back, looked her dead in the eye, and said, I already did. Walking out felt like ripping off a limb. My heart pounded. My chest ached, but my conscience was clear. My dad met me outside, put a hand on my shoulder, and said, you did the right thing. Your mom would be proud. I nodded, but all I felt was rage, not at myself, but at them, at Lydia, at what they'd done, and at what they took for granted. I went home and blocked every number Lydia. Jack, Donna, text after text rolled in. From Lydia, I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to hurt you. Please just talk to me. From Jack, you embarrassed us in front of everyone. You'll regret this. From Donna, I can't believe you would do this to Lydia. She didn't deserve that. I ignored them all. But I knew Lydia would show up. And she did mid-afternoon, 2 days later. She stood at my door looking hollow, eyes swollen from crying. We can fix this, she said, voice cracking. We can work through it. No, I said firmly, you don't get it. This isn't something we can work through. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. I was scared. Okay, I didn't know what to do. Scared of what? Of standing up to your parents, of making a scene. She didn't answer. She just stood there, helpless. Fast forward to that Saturday. I was going through my mom's old keepsake box, something I hadn't touched since she died. Inside were the treasures of her life, the church earrings, her favorite necklace, and a locket passed down through generations, a family heirloom, something priceless. Only the locket was gone. Panic set in. I racked my brain and it hit me. Lydia had come over after the breakup to return the engagement ring. She'd asked to use the bathroom. I hadn't thought anything of it. But now, I texted her. Did you take my mom's locket? A few minutes later. What are you talking about? I didn't buy it, I replied. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That locket has been in my family for generations. She finally cracked. It's not a big deal. I was going to give it back. Not a big deal. I called her. Furious. That was my mom's. How could you just take it? I just wanted to feel connected to you. She sniffled, trying to play the sympathy card. I didn't think you'd notice. Of course I'd notice. I yelled, it's not a bracelet from Target. Lydia, it's a piece of my family's history. I'm coming to get it, I said coldly. Now. An hour later, I was at Jack and Donna's door. Donna answered, her usual fake smile fading fast when she saw my face. What are you doing here, she asked, stepping back. I'm here to get my mom's locket, I said flatly. Lydia took it. Her eyes darted. Lydia took a locket. Why would she? I'm not here to hear excuses, I snapped. I just want it back. Now. Lydia came out of the hallway, holding the locket in her hand, tears streaming down her face. I didn't mean... Don't, I interrupted. You stole from me, from my dead mother. After everything... She started sobbing harder, but I didn't care. I took the locket from her hand, turned around, and slammed the door behind me. In the days that followed, I blocked her again, deleted everything, shut every door permanently. And for the first time in months, I could finally breathe.